That is minced beef and cheddar cobbler made. Well, minced beef and potatoes because we added potatoes. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today, a straightforward, easy-ish, well it is very easy, one pot recipe. We're making a minced beef cobbler with cheddar cheese dumplings. It is so easy, it's not going in the oven, it's all being done on the stove. So that helps everybody that can cook stovetop. It doesn't help anybody that can't get suet, but you know, dumplings can be made with just butter and self-raising flour, but they're not as light and fluffy. So you can still make it all, but we're using suet today, and there's two types of suet which are used in the UK. There's the green one which is vegetable, and there's the blue one which is beef. So if you can get hold of it, that's great. If you can't, you're either mixing it up with butter and self-raising flour, and it's a slightly more dense dumpling. Okay, it's a straightforward recipe. I'm using minced beef, like I say. We're going to crack on. Veggies of choice, I'm only going to use carrots, celery, onions, garlic, and you know, I might put in a couple of potatoes actually. Make it a full meal. Anyway, it's a quick recipe. Let's crack on and do it. Grab yourself a pan. Grab yourself some butter. Now, you don't have to use butter if you don't want. You can just use oil. Butter, boom, in that pan. So for our onions then, dice the onions. I've got some really small onions here, as you can see. Now, it doesn't matter how you dice the onions. Our pan, not on, in there. It makes not a jot whether it's on or not for something like this. Crush up your garlic. And over the top with your knife. Now you can mince it if you so wish, and if you don't like garlic, don't put it in that pan. That's easy as that. Now I've got some new carrots here. I've washed them, and all we're going to do is take off, wait, come back here, take off the bottoms, take off the tops. And we want to be steady away, just come through. You can slice and dice, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter, you know. You go as thin as you like. Now we've got some celery here. Don't want that end. I've already washed it. That's going in there with that carrot. There we go. And I'll peel some potatoes when we get started, because the potatoes I don't want to put in from the start. I'm going to put in before the dumplings go in. Bingo. And it'll all come together. Pan on. That butter is likely to overcook. A little bit of oil in there. A little bit of salt. That's going to bring out some of that fluid from those onions. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of dry thyme. And you say, why am I putting it in now? We haven't cooked anything yet. It's not been cooking for any length of time. It doesn't matter. It's going to rehydrate the thyme in there with the onions when it starts cooking off. And the salt and pepper are going to season it. It doesn't have to go in any particular time. That's where everybody panics and they forget things. Just chuck it in. It's in there already. Don't stress. Now we're not trying to colour this, but if it gets a colour on, so be it. In there with our mince. Start breaking your mince down in there with your onions. Let's start to cook that off. So what we're trying to do now is cook off some of this beef. Get rid of some of this rawness out of here, at least 80%, somewhere around there. We don't want all that red, pink coloured meat in there. Want to make sure we've cooked it down. Smells fantastic already. In there, our hard veg. Going in there with about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Now this is one of those recipes which you can thin out your meat. You know, you can put more veg in here, make up a big gravy and rely on the dumplings for filling. And in the old days, my days, we relied on bread and butter too. Soak it up and enjoy. Of course, if you wanted more beef in there, you cook in there with more beef, less vegetables. That's up to you. Anything in here, you put mushrooms in, if you like mushrooms. You can even just use frozen veg. Just get a packet of frozen veg, throw in a couple of cupfuls, that'll do. You know, you don't even have to use fresh. That really is down to you, whatever you like. Right, tomato puree, heaped tablespoon in there. Right, cook that. You get that in there and start to cook it. Flame not too high for this, you know, it's on up towards medium only, just so we can start cooking off. We're trying to take all the juices out of here if we can, into the pan, mix the flavour together. Fantastic. Easy cook but extremely tasty. Tin tomatoes are not chopped up, in there with the juice. Now you can break all these up in the can if you so wish. That's up to you. Or you can take a pair of scissors and chop them in the tin. Less mess, it's not squirting around all over. Just a stir in. So just give it a little minute to get in there. We're going to chuck our beef stock in. And then we're going to put a couple of bay leaves in as well. And we will put the lid on. And we will let it just cook in there for about 20 minutes. And I'm thinking we're going to have some potatoes in there just to bulk it out a little bit. And we're only going to cube them up quite small, because they are going to cook at the same time as the dumplings. Okay, that's looking fab. In there with our beef stock. Use stock cubes, gravy granules, gravy powder. Use whatever you like. Use fresh. If you make beef stock, use that. Here we go. Nice turn over. Right, we're going to put a lid on this. So it's on a little simmer. We're going to stick a lid on. But all we're going to do is keep coming back, give it a little stir just in case anything's gone down to the bottom of the pan. We don't want anything to burn. 20 minutes, job done. And you know, even me, a couple of bay leaves, if I don't put them in after I've said it, Someone will say, where's the bay leaves? So there's the bay leaves, they're in. We just remember to take them out. Oh, that looks absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Oh, superb. I'm going in there with my potatoes I've just peeled and cubed. I'll put those in. So we'll just move that there a minute. Okay, so this in here is self-raising flour, and this in here is our suet. Some people don't mix it together. I do. Okay, so what we're going to do is just do that and get some little breadcrumbs in there. I like it mixed in. Some people just stir it all through. That's up to them. And we might make this a little bit of a herby cheddar cheese dumpling actually by putting a pinch of thyme in here. So let's make these herby dumplings. A little bit of thyme in there. Give that a mix through. That's in there. And then we want to be going in there with our cheddar cheese. So again, nice and steady, just mix that through like that. Get that flour on all that cheese, and then when we put our fluid in, it's not going to stick up all in one lump. In there with our water, turn our spoon over. Now, we're not overworking this with our hands at all, we're just cutting through. And you can use a knife, but I've already got the spoon in my hand. And all we're doing is just cutting through that suet and flour, bringing this together slightly. And that's it basically. It's a nice way to bring together the dumplings. And then they're not overworked with our hands. So that's cut through there nicely, look. Now, because we're making a cobbler and we're not making dumplings as such, we don't have to roll this into balls. We want to keep it quite a loose mix like that, and then we're just going to put it on the top of our dish cooking in there, and it will put like a layer across the top, and that's what we're after with the cobbler. You know, it's not stew and dumplings. We're making a cobbler, so we want that nice top on. Again, you know, this is one of those recipes, everybody does it their own way. And if you want to put dumplings on, do so. Okay, we want to get that lid off there. A little minute. And I'll just give it a loose stir. Don't have to stir it too much. Just make sure nothing is sticking on the bottom. Now these bay leaves, if you can see the bay leaves, let's have them out. They've done their job already, so we don't need those. Now we did put 3 in, if I remember. There we go. So just poke those potatoes under that fluid, like that, because they need to boil in there, cook in there for another 20 minutes. Now our cobbler mix, it doesn't matter how this goes in, we just want to get it on the top there like that. Try and give yourself a little bit of space round, because it is going to puff up a little bit. And then all we do is put the lid on and let that cook for about another 20 minutes. Straightforward cook. There we go, 20 minutes. Look at that. Look at that light and fluffy cobbler on the top of there. Now, if you had cooked this in an oven-proof pan, you could shove it in the oven and you could cook off the top and put a little bit of crust on there. I mean, that's up to you. You could do the chefy thing. Take one of these. Open up your flame and straight over the top. And I think that is job done. As easy as that. So all we've got to do now is serve it up. Just look at that. Minced beef and cheddar cheese cobbler made. Let's give it a taste test. That is minced beef and cheddar cobbler made. Well, minced beef and potatoes, because we added potatoes. And this is absolutely boiling. That is delicious. Let's have a try of some of this cheddar cobbler. Oh man, come on. The cheddar through that cobbler, that makes it. That is absolutely superb. What a flavour combination there. You got that lovely seasoned mince with all that veg in there. You've got that cheesy cobbler on the top. That is absolutely phenomenal. That is a first class dinner right there. Really love the cheddar cobbler. You know, I've got that little bit of herbs in there. And that cheddar cheese, okay, we just did a chefy thing at the end and flashed it over the top, which you don't have to do, obviously. The flavour is superb, absolutely superb. To me, this is world class, you know, not because I've cooked it, it's a world class dish. You know, you can keep all your fancy foods, that there in that pan is just sensational. I look at that and I just think pure comfort. That is world class. Now don't forget, if you like the video, big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and we'll catch you in the next video.